he went 5 innings on the road with no runs allowed. That was his second best start on the road this year. We're underway with a fastball into Jose Altuve. Altuve normally greeted with less than enthusiastic response here in Seattle. He takes one up and in, and now they'll cheer. It's 1-0.
Yeah, just chuck it up near his head and get a cheer out of the crowd.
Not once, but twice, George Kirby throws up and in on Jose Altuve, and Mariners fans at T-Mobile Park cheered it. Gallan and George on a Thursday, May 30th. Joe, you made a face when you heard that.
I like how TK just like so effortlessly was just like up and in and a cheer. And he's just like right into it. I just don't understand why we're still doing this. Because it's clearly intentional.
I don't know how many fan bases still do this. I asked the question, and it was a passive-aggressive way, Pacific Northwestern language, to try and communicate with some of my Seattle followers, to essentially ask, why is it that of all fan bases, Mariners fans are the ones who cheer when Altuve gets thrown up and in? I don't think Yankees fans do. They don't play the Dodgers enough for the Dodgers fans to probably do it. I'm sure they boo him. Do they cheer when he gets thrown up and in? Maybe they do. Maybe I'm making too much out of last night. But last night it was noticeable to the point where I found myself annoyed.
I think Yankees fans would. So this would be my list of teams of fans I would expect to cheer Altuve being thrown high and tight. Obviously the Mariners, they've shown us twice last night they'll do it. The Yankees, I would say the Dodgers if you play in Dodger Stadium, but it's almost just a guess at this point because it so rarely happens. I would include the Rangers in that. Rangers fans. Just after everything that's happened with Garcia last year and the way the series went, that if they threw up tight at Altuve, that Rangers fans would probably get a kick out of that.
I think they'd like throwing up and tight against any Astro, though. I don't know that it would be specifically Altuve, and that's why it's different with this situation. I feel like it is uniquely Altuve that they get super hot and bothered about getting thrown up and in against. And by the way, Seattle photographer, who is my buddy, who was in the Astros dugout last night, went out of his way to tell me Altuve spent a lot of time after the game signing autographs for kids. Classy guy.
I don't get why. I get why Mariners fans wouldn't like the Houston Astros. 2022. They're in the same division. 2022 ALDS. Close fought sweep. Them and last year's Lakers. Closest sweeps in NBA history. What I don't get though is the animus directed just at Jose Altuve. When if you think about if it's about the sign stealing, it's like, who cares? You're losing 90 games that year anyway. Like, that's why it's okay for the Yankees and Dodgers to get upset, or it's understandable. For the Mariners, it's like, no, you should be mad at Yordan Alvarez and Jeremy Pena, because those are the guys that hit the walk-offs, or I guess Pena wasn't a walk-off, but those are the guys that gave it the big hits that, again, the closest sweep you could ever have. That's what sent them home, not Jose Altuve. I mean, Jose Altuve was... I don't think he was good that series.
I mean, his career stats are pretty damn good against the Mariners. He's got .311 batting average, 18 home runs, 88 RBIs in 171 games. So he does dominate them.
Yeah, that's like a full season
on a pretty consistent basis.
But that's, I guess. But even then, I guess this is me just disrespecting the Mariners. But it's like all those are regular season games that they went somewhere between 90 wins and 70 wins every year during the most of that stretch.
How many people do you think care, let alone know, that Jose Altuve, per his teammates, was the guy who was saying, I don't want to be a part of this?
That's a good question.
Like a quarter? Like 25% no, 0% care?
I don't know if it's a very high percentage at all.
I do think some of it is like, we see this a lot like throughout sports, and honestly just throughout like media, where it's like, it's a little bit of the why does everyone hate Nickelback thing, because it's like, that's just the thing you do. Where it's like, why do you hate Jose Altuve? Because it's kind of the thing you do. Like I don't think all 20,000 Mariners fans that are at the stadium last night have like really hard feelings about the 2017 cheating scandal?
Yeah, I
just seriously doubt that.
I saw Ben Verlander put this out last night. He tweeted about this.
He was hot and bothered.
And his tweets got like 280,000 views on at this point. And
lots of Astros fans replying.
Yes. And a lot of Mariners fans going out his way, because Ben did take it to an extreme. He said, I honestly think if he got hit in the head and died on the field, people would cheer. So, like, he
I was like, how did he take it to the extreme?
He took it. He took
as far as he can go.
He took it as far as he could go. He's like, if he dies on the field, they're gonna cheer. Like,
I think it's smattering.
So.
I think it's
so.
smattering. Before they knew he died, there'd be a smattering.
Like, do you think the Russians would have cheered if Apollo died in Russia?
Yes.
In Rocky?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, they cheered for Rocky when he beat Drago.
Yeah, but that's because he showed that we can change. You can change. I can change.
You're right.
We can all change.
Touche. Maybe that's what Jose Altuve needs to do. He needs to throw it at someone. Ground ball to second base and just chuck it at Julio Rodriguez.
Dirty slide.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I would kind of like some retaliation action. It's fun when the Astros and Mariners drop gloves. I do enjoy it. And I'm wondering if things get out of hand today, if someone on the Astros decides to do it. Weirdly, this is a game where I kind of wish Framber Valdez, completely untrustworthy in a must-win game, was on the hill. I kind of want this to be an afternoon disaster. I want this to be one of those really messy ones. I don't like what happened last night. I truly don't. And I asked that question last night. Do Yankees fans also cheer when Altuve takes a pitch up and in, and one person basically confirmed exactly what I was trying to get to? He said, like, there's two up and in, two cheers. Good. There's something different there. And it's weird. This city that I lived in, that I worked in, that considers itself so empathetic that they're willing to let homeless people take over a playground at a school so they can shoot up fentanyl. You laugh, Joe. That actually happened.
I know it does.
That's an actual story. That was a deal for 4 to 5 months. They have empathy there. And yet, this guy who's signing autographs for young Mariners fans after the game, who is truly one of the most humble and best role models in the sport, they get excited when a ball is thrown up and in on them, and they have no explanation for it. I would text the group chat that I'm still in with some of those Seattle folks, but the last time I talked to them about Astros Mariners, after the Yordan Alvarez home run, because they were saying F Houston, and I got a little upset, I sent them a video saying welcome to the real playoffs, because they played in the fake playoffs there. They would probably react to it very hostile, but I don't think they'd have an answer for it. I really don't. There is a weird vitriol that is directed at Jose Altuve, specifically by Seattle fans, that is strange to me because it feels higher than that of the Yankees and of the Dodgers. And as you guys said, Joe, like, it's one of these things where you would think that it would be the Yankees fans who are more mad at him, or the Dodgers fans that are more mad about him, or as Sean said, it would be mad about Jeremy Pena or Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, it feels even within just the bickering between the fan base, and social media doesn't tell the whole story, and that's why, like, the Altuve stuff, how many people know and just ignore it, I think is a minimal, because I think outside of Twitter, like, I don't know how many people acknowledge even when Jeff Passan tweets, or Ben Verlander, or anyone, even these national reporters, they all acknowledge that Jose Altuve didn't cheat, and I don't think that many people acknowledge it because there's not even that many people on social media. But there does seem on social media to be, of the beefs between Astros Twitter versus other fan Twitter, the Mariners one does always seem to be the most
violent,
ugly. Yeah. I mean, like they doxed Jeremy.
It's weird being in the middle of it.
No.
It's weird being in the middle of it. I mean, when I was in Seattle, I did sort of sick Seattle fans on Ben DeBose, and he went private for a little bit of time.
Oh, that's just another day that ends in
You can't go private. You can't go private.
It's so funny. I click on his Twitter account. What do I see?
Private?
He's arguing with Mariners fans about them throwing high and tight and Altuve.
Joe, I think I'm the reason Jeremy got doxxed too, because I retweeted something that he said.
Oh no!
It was like some Scott Service, because of course it was Scott Service being a clown, and Jeremy said something. Just said something that was vaguely pro Astros. Might have just been anti Scott Service, and Paul just gave it a little sneaky retweet, and just low key sick the Mariners faithful on.
I'm an agent of chaos. What can I say?
It's always Paul's fault. That's what we learned today.
I could be that guy. I'm the hero that Houston needs right now, and the hero that Houston deserves. I also deserve more money.
It is weird how rabid the Mariners fan base seems to be for a team that
Sucks
for a city that, like you said, like doesn't seem like they're the most like live and die with all this stuff. And then also this team has given you no reason to be this passionate at any point in its history or in the last 20 years. They were good in 2001.
Honestly, it's probably, to me, like from the outside perspective, it seems like one of the best like sports cities in the country. Like the way they act now, the way they act at their soccer games, like they're incredible.
No, they actually care.
They are consistently the loudest football stadium in the NFL.
They just couldn't support a basketball team. That's why they're bad.
And they're gonna get the Sonics back.
They just didn't care.
Maybe
enough.
that's why they're mad at everything, because like they just don't have. They didn't.
It's just rage.
They only got a year of KD.
Misguided rage.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they hate Houston, because they never got to see James Harden play for the Sonics.
No, it's definitely not that. I think they would have been like, you know what, you can Oklahoma City, you can take the Sonics if that loser's playing for us.
Trying to figure something out.
Joe, I mean, they love the WNBA, for God's sakes. Like that's the one city that actually supports the WNBA and gets really mad at you if you don't follow along and watch it. Like I got bullied into watching WNBA games when I was up there. Anyway, no one cares about that.